What is good, people? Lord Hades here with a follow-up video on my stages video. Basically, what I've been doing since Ultimate came out to test what stages are viable for competitive play is running the online lobbies with a couple different rule sets. I'm doing 3 stocks, 6 minutes for those settings, and then I have a hazards on rule set and a hazards off rule set. And I'm just going to really quickly show you the stages that I still have in here, and then kind of go over the ones that I have gotten rid of, and the reasons for which I've gotten rid of them. So for hazards on, we of course have Battlefield. Battlefield, nothing wrong with it. Neutral stage. We have FD, of course, it's perennial. Just a flat stage, nothing wrong with it. And here is where we get into whether or not things should be a neutral or a counter pick. So Yoshi's Story, hazards on, I'm actually going to eliminate. Now, the reason for this is because of the Shy Guys. Randall actually does not seem like too much of a problem. However, the Shy Guys, I think Esam mentioned in a video some time ago that they can drop a lot of food, and that is true. It's completely random. There's no consistency to it, and because there's a hazards off version, I don't think we should use the hazards on. Same thing goes for Yoshi's Island, unfortunately. I'm a big fan of this stage, as I played 3DS for a long time before I had a Wii U. However, like the other stage, the Shy Guys will drop food, and that just kind of messes with things. Additionally, you can hit the Shy Guys. I'm not sure if that unstales your moves or stales your moves, but it's possible that it does. Regardless, it's kind of unfit for competitive play. Smashville. Now, this is regular Smashville with the moving platform. I believe should probably be a counter pick, just because, like we saw in Smash 4, it can be really polarizing. If it doesn't end up being so polarizing, it might be a neutral. And the last stage in Hazards On is going to be Town and City. So this is the same as Smash 4 Town and City with the moving platforms that sometimes cycle away. I believe that this Town and City should be a counter pick at the very least. And that wraps it up for all the stages that we can use with Hazards On. I don't know if the final tournament rule set will just end up using Hazards Off entirely and not have kind of a split between the two, but I feel like it's at least worth taking a look at everything that's available to us. So in Hazards Off, once we get into here, I didn't mean to go into it, I meant to edit it. My apologies. So, Battlefield redundant, FD redundant. In Hazards Off, we can add Dreamland. Regular Dreamland has Wispy and is kind of annoying. But Hazards Off Dreamland has no wind and functions as a triplat with differing platform heights for certain and presumably different blast zones from Battlefield. I don't think having multiple triplats is bad necessarily, especially because the ladder combos that were so potent on the stages in the previous game are not nearly as potent in this game. You really have to work a lot harder, and with good DI, even if you get ladder to the top, a lot of the time you can survive. So having multiple platform heights with similar layouts might actually be okay. And I do believe this version of Dreamland should be a counter pick, not a neutral. Yoshi's Story Hazards Off, I believe, should be a counter pick. It is a different triplat layout from the other ones. They have different heights, and the spacing is different. The two on the side kind of overlap the edge. They go all the way to the side. And then the actual ledges of the map have a lip, which kind of changes the dynamics of certain recoveries and how you can edge guard, whatever you want to say, ledge trap, or trapped somewhere in between. All of those things right now. So, pretty sure I said already, should be a counter pick if it's in the rule set. Pokemon Stadium Hazards Off is glorious. It's just 2 platforms. There's nothing jank about it, I believe. I kind of concur with what Esam said, actually. This is one of the most neutral stages ever made in Smash, and it should very much be a starter, not a counter pick. Now, moving down, we have WarioWare Inc. Stays on this transformation the entire time. It has really high ceiling, it seems like, and then really close side blast zones. So you would think that it's really broken for laddering people up, and it could be as we get better at that. But for the most part, it's just a really small stage. Like if you don't want to get camped out, you can bring people here, and you're going to be pretty much locked in close quarters combat. Like Mewtwo is not running to the other side of the stage and charging Shadow Balls because you're right there with him. The stage is kind of a breath of fresh air, and we haven't really had a super CQC stage before. I think it would be sick. So that one will be a counter pick, in my opinion. I guess it could potentially be a neutral, but I feel like it's a little too polarizing. Now, Frigate Orpheon is also a stage that I think should be considered. This is one of the more jank ones, and as we're eliminating stuff from the rule set, if we have too many stages, it'll definitely be one of the first to go. But the moving platform, see, the thing about Frigate Orpheon is it's very consistent. There's a ledge on the right side. There is a ledge on both of the left sides, and there's no ledges anywhere else, except when the right side platform is above the left side one. Then the right side of the main platform becomes a ledge as well to assist in recovering. This stage isn't really too degenerate. I haven't run into anything that's particularly annoying on this stage, and there might be certain characters that can benefit and do certain things here that they wouldn't be able to do elsewhere, in addition to providing kind of like mix-ups for where you can recover, especially on the left side. There's two different ledges, and then on the right side you can kind of take a breather, camp a little bit, but it doesn't allow you to camp forever when the platform is down, because it's going to cycle back up, and then you can be hit with projectiles, and you can be approached conventionally as if it was a flat stage, and then it'll eventually raise you up as well. And being above people in this game really does suck. Can't really air dodge, you know, defensive options aren't as good, so being above people is bad. Like Frigate Orpheon, I don't think is too degenerate. From there, obviously Frigate Orpheon is a counter pick, by the way, if you couldn't tell. We got Yoshi's Island 3DS. As mentioned previously, it's kind of unfortunate that the Hazards On version, the Shy Guys, ruin everything, because I don't think the tilting platform or the kind of like savior platforms that can spawn on the side are too degenerate. It's a lot like Randall in Melee, but the food ruins it. It's the unfortunate thing. So Hazards Off version is definitely worth taking a look at. It's a not flat stage, so if jab blocks, which sort of don't exist in this game, end up being a problem, they might be affected by tilting stages. And again, it has the lips on the side, similar to the other Yoshi stage, which will change the mechanics of ledge trapping and edge guarding. Castle Siege is not really jank, it's very consistent, though it is incredibly polarizing. Certain characters really like the stage, certain characters really don't. At least from what I've seen. Obviously, I don't have a ton of data, but this is just like what I've felt initially from playing on it. And recording more and more of this kind of stuff and putting it out there will give us actual data that we can make proper decisions off of, rather than just my gut feelings. So at this point, I think this one's still worth testing, and obviously would be a counter pick because it is blatantly kind of polarizing. Smashville, Hazards Off, should be a neutral stage. The platform kind of spawns on the right and then immediately floats to the center. I don't know why it doesn't just spawn in the center, but it stays there for the rest of the game after that. And I believe that this version of Smashville is significantly more neutral than the one with the moving platform, because you're not really going to get additional combos off the side that you wouldn't have otherwise. It's just a more consistent stage than its cousin. Now, Unova Pokemon League is another double platform stage that's going to be safe to use. So we already had Pokemon Stadium. The heights on the platforms on Unova are definitely different, and then it has walls as opposed to kind of the Battlefield-esque underside of Stadium, which will obviously heighten some characters' recoveries who have wall jumps. And then the platform heights will be better for comboing, pressuring with certain characters than others. And you can stand on these platforms and escape short hop lasers and things like that from certain characters, which might actually be useful in this game. It's for certain different, and I think has the potential to be a starter. And if not, definitely has potential to be a counter pick and should be in the rule set. I really fuck with Unova Pokemon League. We're going to talk about the other Pokemon League as well, Kalos. Similarly to Stadium and Unova, it has a different double platform layout. The platforms are much further towards the sides, kind of over the sides actually, which provides, again, different kind of pressure that you can do, different recovery options. You can definitely mix up high recoveries on this stage. With Wolf, I was able to like double jump side B high and land on one of these side platforms, something that I wouldn't have access to on either of the other double platform stages because the platforms are so far in. Obviously, that's personal bias, me wanting it in here, but I feel that this stage is definitely still worth testing and leaving in the rule set. Has the potential to be a neutral, in my opinion, and then if not, can be a counter pick. And then we're going to go to Town and City. The Hazards Off version of Town and City goes to the first transformation, but with the platform in the center in its lowermost position. And then every once in a while, for some reason, the platforms cycle off entirely. So they don't move heights, but it will turn into FD every once in a while. I think this is fine. Should either be a neutral or if not a counter pick. And the last stage that I think we should continue to test is Mushroom Kingdom U. So this stage is interesting because it has the largest ground area of any of the stages that I have mentioned so far. However, the blast zones are actually really close. If you get hit off the right side, I don't know if it's closer than the left side, but you can die pretty early. It is possible that the blast zones differ on either side. Other than that, I haven't seen... we've got somebody online. I haven't seen anything too degenerate on this stage so far. I haven't really gotten camped out. It's definitely come up quite a few times in my rotations, so I've done some good playing on it. But like I mentioned with Frigga Orpheon, since we have so many stages and because this one is kind of zany, if we are cutting stages, this will be one of the first to go. However, it's definitely worth looking at as a doubles stage. A lot of singles stages I've always felt are too small for doubles, and having some large stages like this will definitely make that metagame more appealing, as there'll be like more space where you can actually kind of see where your character is. I know personally, like one of the biggest problems I've always had with playing doubles is just there being so much stuff going on the screen in a concentrated area that I can't tell what I'm doing. Stages like this would definitely probably help out with that. And now, just before the video ends, I'm going to kind of talk about stages that I mentioned in my previous stage video that I have taken out of my rotation, and then I'm going to tell you why. So the first is going to be Fountain of Dreams, both variants. So the frame drops definitely do exist. I personally don't think they affect the gameplay that much, but it is an inconsistency that we can just eliminate by not having it in the rule set. And the other thing is it is incredibly difficult. It is, incredibly difficult for people with poor vision like me to see certain characters on this stage. It's really bright, and honestly, it just hurts my eyes to look at. I realize that's kind of personal bias, but I know that a lot of gamers like me probably don't have the best of vision, and I don't think we should be subjected to this. FD is fine in this game now. It's not too bright, but Fountain is just incredibly difficult to see people on. From there, I actually took Pokemon Stadium 2 out. It is a double platform layout. I have not tested yet whether it is the same as Stadium 1, but the thing that kind of ruins this one is the screen in the background. While FOD is super bright, and that kind of causes it to be difficult to tell what you're doing, this one has that screen that just makes it incredibly difficult to focus on the foreground. Like, I'm constantly looking back and forth between the foreground and the background, and I feel like this is just a confusing element that does not need to be in a competitive stage, especially when we have 3 other double platform stages that do not have this problem. I was also testing Skyloft and Woohoo Island. The reason that I'm going to have to axe them recovering through the stage is super degenerate for characters like K. Rool, Villager, and Snake. K. Rool being the most degenerate because of his massive hitbox on his up B. I think that just provides characters like that with way too many mix-ups on this stage. Other than that, they're not really bad, but the ledges can be kind of inconsistent as well. I know with Wolf side B, it's really easy to miss the ledge and just like go part way through the stage and fall to your death. So that's kind of an inconsistency I don't want to deal with. That goes for both Skyloft and Woohoo. They kind of both suffer from the same problems, being a mostly okay stage, but then you can go through it. So that kind of ruins it. And then both of the hazards on Yoshi's stages I have taken out of my rotation because of the Shy Guys. Randall and the RNG platforms don't really seem like a problem, but the food just ruins everything. So that kind of wraps up all the stages that I'm still going to be testing, guys. So just to go over again, the rule set that I am using in my online lobbies, if you want to try and search for me and join them, it's going to be 3 stock, 6 minutes. And it's going to be random stage selection on either hazards on or hazards off. And the stages that you can end up playing on are Battlefield, FD, Pokemon Stadium, hazards off, Smashville, hazards off, Unova Pokemon League, hazards off, Kalos Pokemon League, hazards off, Town and City, hazards off, Smashville, hazards on, Town and City, hazards on, Dreamland, hazards off, Yoshi's Story, hazards on, Yoshi's Island, hazards off. I meant Yoshi's Story hazards off if I said on. WarioWare Inc. hazards off. Frigate Orpheon hazards off. Castle Siege hazards off. And a Mushroom Kingdom U hazards off until we cut that bitch. I hope y'all enjoyed the video. I hope y'all are enjoying Smash Ultimate, and I hope to see y'all in my lobbies. So if you enjoyed, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe for more Ultimate content. I swear I'm actually going to continue my Doom playthrough. I've just been really hyped about this game, and I haven't been able to tear myself away from it. But yeah, peace out, y'all.